wrong. You know that's wrong. This is his house. You disrespectful. You're so evil.
I'm not evil, baby. I need to protect myself. I need to protect myself. Joy, you were sleeping with me. It's the fire.
R. Kelly turned himself into Chicago police. He is being charged with 10 counts.
We're in the process of investigating
the attorneys, the agents, and the managers
that enabled this course of conduct.
The whole world know that this man is a pedophile. I wish that Aaliyah's family would speak. Aaliyah is key to everything.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Since Day One. Before we get into the second episode of Surviving R. Kelly 2, The Reckoning, go ahead and like the video, comment down below, and if you are new, smash that subscribe button to take flight with us.
I was the first girl. Nobody believed me. And after that, it continued to happen.
Again and again.
fake love, I don't need it, you can keep it, that's a fact. I had to make up my mind. I took that weight on my shoulders. I done been down.
Hey you guys, I know y'all have been waiting on this and I am finally here with it. The Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, The Reckoning. I will be reacting to episode 2. I will not be reacting to episode 1 because it actually confused me. I don't even know why they even started it off like that. My plan is to go hard all January because this is actually my anniversary date for me actually starting my YouTube channel. And if you all have been here with me since day one, you know that I begin with Surviving R. Kelly. So it is now January 2020, you guys, and we all been waiting for Joycelyn and Azriel to actually wake up. But what we weren't expecting was for them to actually get into a fight and go against one another when the enemy here is Robert Kelly. Now, y'all know I really haven't been speaking on Azriel as much since I released that video of me speculating that she could have been the one to start Joycelyn Savage's Patreon account just to jumpstart her internet presence. I actually received a lot of backlash when I made that video speculating that Azriel Clary could have started Joycelyn's Patreon account just to jumpstart her internet presence before all of this stuff came out about Surviving R. Kelly 2. Azriel Clary and her dad, Angelo Clary, had actually disowned me, you guys, after I had came out with that speculation. And I suppose that Azriel Clary and her father, Angelo Clary, were very well aware of my video when I created it because they both had went live. Mr. Clary went live on his Instagram and spoke his piece about it, and Azriel Clary also went live on her Snapchat and said this, y'all.
Now y'all know I'm 21, okay, and I'm gonna say how I feel. I don't care who it is. Like, if I got something I gotta get off my chest, I'm gonna say it, period. And this is about a YouTuber. I ain't even finna say no names because baby, you don't even deserve that much satisfactory from me and all that. But so this YouTuber hit me up all on this little rah-rah. Oh my god, I miss it so much. I just love your story. Oh my gosh. When I looked up this YouTuber, I'm like, nah, shawty, nice try, wrong guy. You don't support my story. All you do is degrade me on your YouTube channel. So don't come for me like that. I guess she didn't like that. Now she putting out a video. Now she putting out a video. Now you trying to put out a video saying that I was behind a Joycelyn account. First of all, what the fuck I look like being behind a fake account? First of all, that was probably your ass. Second of all, I don't make my money. I'm not you. I don't need to lie to people to get motherfucking views. So don't ever compare us. Don't ever put us in the same category because, baby, we ain't. How about this? How about you put out a video not using my name and let's see how many views and likes you get then because, baby, you eating off of me.
And y'all, to be honest, I never responded to this about Azriel Clary going live and talking about me because at the end of the day, she's a victim. And even though I was speculating, it's my channel and it's like freedom of speech. And I understand how they might have been disappointed that I might have thought that. But just look at the bigger picture, y'all. Like, I wasn't just trying to reach. I wasn't just trying to come up with stuff and make up something. It was just weird how all of a sudden Joycelyn comes out with a fake Patreon account. And then all of a sudden Azriel has all this social media we never knew anything about. And it just seemed like a setup. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below, you guys, and just let me know if y'all thought that I was being shady by saying that. I mean, I really wasn't. I was just reacting to the news about Joycelyn's Patreon account and just stating my opinion like always. But Mr. Clary totally did not sit down like we usually do and talk to me about it. I mean, I would have had more respect for him asking me to remove the video than for him to go on Instagram basically downing me and my channel when I've really done nothing but support him and his family and be here and, you know, ride for them. And even went as far, y'all, to let him use my platform in order to reach out to Azriel when they weren't in contact. I feel like that even though this isn't my story, it doesn't have anything to do with me. I feel like that I've taken so much time and invested into this situation and the story, period. It was so many times that I was crying and bawling and just couldn't even get my emotions in check because of the situation that Azriel and Joycelyn were going through. I totally felt for them. I felt like they were my little sisters. And just like everybody else in the world, I wanted to see them safe and happy and being able to make the decisions they wanted to make. Not everyone is blessed enough to have a two-parent home, let alone parents fighting for you. And we all know throughout this whole docuseries crime scene investigation against R. Kelly that the parents have been a little sketchy, but at the end of the day, they rode for their children, and I've been right here riding along. And I don't know, you guys, when Azriel reacted to me, I really just didn't even know how to feel at that point in time, because that is totally not the reaction I thought she would give me. To my sisters, Azriel Clary and Joycelyn Savage, I need you guys to open your eyes and see who's for the team and who isn't. Okay, you guys, so it's getting late. Let me go ahead and hop into Surviving R. Kelly, The Reckoning, episode 2, so we can go ahead and get this reaction out the way and continue on with the other episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in with me, and let's go ahead and hop into this.
First time I met with Robert after getting his phone number, I gathered some of my friends and we went to his apartment.
It was Robert, I think about 3 of his friends. My friends were all in his bedroom.
So I would go in and out of the room. Every time I went in there, it turned into a whole orgy. Every girl I brought
was between the age of
14 and 16.
That was not something that was normal. For a 25-year-old to be having a 10-year-old, I thought maybe this was different. Maybe this is just how it goes.
He used to call me the cable girl. And I said, I don't get it. She said, I hooked him up. I introduced him to 6 of my other friends.
And they all had sex with Kelly before I ever slept with him.
So, effect, let's invite more people to this party.
After being around Robert from friendship into something sexual.
He married Aaliyah. This tape was circulating, and this doesn't happen without a symphony of people.
How did he get away with this for 30
I
years?
have been asking myself the very same thing, you guys. How did he get away with this for so long? Everyone is choosing not to separate the art from the artist when really R. Kelly is still Robert Kelly. It doesn't matter if he is a celebrity superstar. Do y'all think that R. Kelly chose to stay in Chicago all of these years because he liked his hometown? No, he stayed there because he knew he could influence people. He knew he could influence the community, and he knew that everyone, young and old, would try to get next to him just to get some of what he had.
It should have ended with Tiffany, patient 0. The first girl who sued Kelly. First of all, contact that started when she was 15 in 1991.
I always knew I wanted to sing. It was an outlet for me. I was very shy, but when I was singing, I was somebody different. And I thought that music was my destiny. I sang in church. That's where I started. Into high school. I saw myself being a singer like Whitney Houston. And I got to high school, went to Miss McLean. She said to me, "You remind me of Whitney Houston."
We were all running from different challenges. We all had our own challenges at home, either rejection, abuse, or just not really feeling like you fit in.
My mother and I had some tension in our relationship. My mother, I did feel like she did not protect us the way that I feel like I would protect my daughter. So I was angry with her for that.
And that's where I was at when I met Robert.
R. Kelly knew what to look for back in the day, especially being from Chicago himself. He knew how the community needed him in order to thrive and survive and for him to be able to create opportunities for other people. Instead, he brought people on to work for him to help him hurt these girls that he was basically taking advantage of. It seemed like he always went after the girls that don't have family or are into it with their parents or out on the street because they think that outside is better than home. And just like Demetrius Smith has said, he never questioned Tiffany's age, because she was always running around with a pack of girls in the middle of the night, staying in the studio and whatnot. However, Demetrius also implied that he was Tiffany's manager. So you telling me you don't know how old she is? To be honest, you guys, Demetrius is always getting caught in his lies. I don't even know why he participated in this. The cool thing that I noticed about Tiffany appearing on Surviving R. Kelly 2: The Reckoning is she's never told her story to anyone except for her lawyer, Ian Alexander, who she also obtained back in the day when she was 15. He's been her lawyer all these years, you guys. Do you really think that they're going to continue lying on him? I don't think that this is all a lie. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below and let me know how y'all feel about the situation.
I spent a lot of time with Robert.
Me, Javante, another friend of ours, were with Robert pretty much on a daily basis. I met him in Hyde Park and we saw him.
Ran over to his car because we wanted to meet him.
I was a sophomore in high school. The first time I sang for Robert, I started singing Mariah Carey's, and Robert fell out of his chair. And I was like, so is that a good thing? For the first several months, my relationship with Robert, a brother, sister. Robert and I talked about my life at home, and he had a way to make you feel like you could beat the odds. He made sure I had a place to stay, to eat, and clothes on my back. That's how that went.
In the early 90s, you would see multiple girls at the studio. Now, they were around. They were around late. Sometimes we'd spend the night at the studio.
I never really looked at Tiffany's age. She ran with a pack of girls. Come early, they did what they wanted. And they did what they wanted to do all night.
These are girls who wanted to sing, and she had incredible talent.
Kelly promised her a career. That's every young musician's dream. Instead, sexual relation preying on her age 15, having her connect him to other 15-year-olds. It sounds like the Manson family.
You guys, I feel like R. Kelly knew exactly what he was doing. He already had a down-packed plan from when he first got caught with Rashana and he got acquitted. And even though fans and supporters and just everyone else around R. Kelly was wondering why he would want to risk his freedom to do it again and again and again, you guys, he never stopped. It's like once he got acquitted, he felt untouchable. He felt like no one could ever get to him. And I know you guys remember his little speech in front of his entourage where he basically let the whole world know that we were 30 years too late, that he was already injected into the music industry and he was handcuffed to his destiny. I guess he was right.
Robert did ask me to bring friends with me.
And I did bring friends with me.
They always wound up having, it always ended up that way. It was in a very minor way with Robert. I came to the room and he asked me to take my shirt off. He fondled us while he was having with somebody else. But I felt like at least I don't have to have sex with him. I mean, I was never okay with it. I always felt like you can't be enjoying this. So why are we doing it? But he didn't care. Assuming that one said something about all the young girls, bring your friends, bring some of your friends. Every time, bring some of your friends. We went from that to nobody can come. He didn't tell me why. All of a sudden, it's just me now.
So there's no one else.
It's just me to have sex with Robert other than me. It's just me.
The first step in the process of victimization is locating and identifying a target. What can make it easier is if you are less connected to family and friends, more isolated in your life, less social support.
My sexual relationship with Robert began several months after meeting him. When it was just him and me, we went from this tight-knit brother, sister to more of a sexual.
So it was an evolution of Bilia.
If a 15-year-old is trading sex for a favor, basically does not have the wire to understand long-term effects, current impulse, and current behavior.
It's what I knew I had to do. I was not sexually attracted to Robert, and in order to satisfy him and keep myself around,
I really have a lot of respect for Tiffany, you guys, because she actually opened the doors for a lot of other people who were subject to R. Kelly's BS. I respect Tiffany because she didn't hide behind closed doors when things hit the fan. I had respect for her because she actually cared about herself. And back in the 90s, things were a lot more different than they are right now in the new millennium. And also in the 90s, there were not many two-parent homes, and there were a lot of single mothers struggling to take care of their children, which opened the door for more men to start influencing their daughters more easily when the mothers were not around. Y'all leave your thoughts and opinions down below and let me know how y'all feel about it, and let's go ahead and move on with this.
I honestly cannot think of a time that I was with Robert and we didn't have sex. It was all the time. I mean, I hated it, but I did because I felt like it's what I had to do.
Tiffany was a singer. Her relationship with Robert, we introduced her to Aaliyah.
Y'all, I be having so many questions for Demetrius because his story has changed up like so many times since the first Surviving R. Kelly came out. It's like he wants to be involved, yet he doesn't want to be involved. It's like he wants the props for doing whatever he did for R. Kelly, but he wasn't always around because he was in and out of jail. But at the same time, it's like he wants recognition for being R. Kelly's helper, when really low-key, you were acting like an enabler. Like, I couldn't even believe you went on Surviving R. Kelly and told on yourself saying you were the one who took Aaliyah to get her fake ID. And at this point, y'all, I'm wondering if he's going to be charged as well. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below and let me know what y'all think.
And she began to sing background
on Aaliyah's album, and that made her very happy. Aaliyah is key to everything. Aaliyah is key to everything. My understanding of what happened between Robert and Aaliyah begins with Barry Hanker,
who was the manager who oversaw Kelly's rise to superstardom.
He had a niece. Hankerson paired Aaliyah with Kelly.
And Kelly wrote, recorded, produced, and titled Aaliyah's debut album.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
We became really fast friends. Leah and I being very close.
I did sing on her first album, as well as participated in the At Your Best video.
He met Aaliyah when she was 13. I don't think anyone ever suspected a relationship, because why would you suspect a grown man of having sex with a 13-year-old?
And Aaliyah produced 2 pieces of ID that appeared to show her to be 18.
Hip-hop star R. Kelly did indeed marry his protege, the 15-year-old
singer Aaliyah Haught.
Robert and Aaliyah got married. Didn't care. Was sleeping with him. That was great because that meant I didn't have to.
Aaliyah's father put a halt to all that.
It was something that was covered up. There were people that knew about it. Aaliyah was the first to have a signed non-disclosure agreement with Robert Kelly.
An NDA, most of the time civil setting, if parties agree and they don't want to share it or other people, both sides sign a non-disclosure agreement. So you can't talk the terms of the settlement, how much money was paid by either party.
That non-disclosure agreement became the most effective tool in R. Kelly's arsenal to continue his predatory practices.
I wish that Aaliyah's family would speak. I wish that Aaliyah's family would speak. That what it would mean to know that Aaliyah was hurt that way too.
Aaliyah and I were each other when she passed. We were very serious. You know, we talked about getting married. She taught me how to love to the extent that I know how to love now. You know, she was my best friend. You know, there's a lot of people out there. You said he was a bad man. It just made us so uncomfortable.
I feel like if anybody should have knew from jump or really knew what was going on, it was Aaliyah's uncle Barry Hankerson. I mean, he was already deep in the music industry. He had plenty of connections, and I know that he heard plenty of rumors about R. Kelly back in the day before R. Kelly even met with Aaliyah. The rumor was that Aaliyah was actually pregnant by R. Kelly, and Demetrius basically told us, in other words, in the last docuseries, that he assisted R. Kelly in marrying Aaliyah to cover up the pregnancy and the fact that he was sleeping with Aaliyah. I'm just so shocked, you guys, that even happened to her, and just that her family is being so selfish and don't even want to give his niece justice. I feel like at the end of the day, they should definitely put their pride to the side, because if Aaliyah was here and she knew that all of this stuff was still going on, she would definitely put a stop to it. Just like earlier on in the episode, Tiffany Hawkins had said that in her court documentation, her witness list contained Aaliyah's name, and it said that Aaliyah was going to come and testify and talk and tell everything about what actually happened between her and R. Kelly, and even talk about the NDA that she signed. And to be honest, y'all, I just seen this when I had watched Surviving R. Kelly 2 for the first time the other day. I had stopped it and read it, and it said that Aaliyah was going to tell it, y'all. And Jim Daragotis was so right, you guys, because Aaliyah is the key to everything.
That I couldn't know about it because it would have made me too uncomfortable. But I just wouldn't have been able to tolerate knowing certain things and being in the same room with certain people. I had to get therapy over that. If like people would have protected Aaliyah, so many other girls wouldn't have got touched. The fact that they were able to get touched meant you shouldn't have to always learn from pain. Sometimes you could learn from other people. Like Aaliyah was like the sacrificial lamb for all that.
But how did that cover it up? It just made the conversation less crazy though. He married a child.
You know, it was good soul. Like let that man live, but just keep him the away. That's all she wanted. She was just happy to be awake.
And you know what? I know the whole story. You know what I'm saying? I know it was to cover up and all of that.
That was a headline. That was like a rumor. That was something talked about. It was like, oh, you married Aaliyah? It wasn't like ill disgusting. You married a 13-year-old. She's 13. I have to be accurate because I don't care. Anything under 18 is
Ooh, y'all, I don't even know why they went to messing with Dame Dash. The man in the background basically tried to correct Dame when he said that R. Kelly was messing with Aaliyah at 13. The producers wanted him to get it right and get the correct age, which was 15. And Dame is like, it don't matter what age it was. Anything under 18 is disgusting. And it's true. R. Kelly could literally have any woman he wants in the world. He could have big girls, small girls, tall girls, skinny girls. He can have disformed girls, handicapped girls, any kind of girl he wants. And it just confuses me, you guys, why he will want a younger girl. Why do you want a baby? Why do you want someone who's not experienced? And it really just makes me think that he's immature in his head. Something's mentally wrong with him. So you know how people say that you have learning disabilities, and it basically keeps you from interacting with adults most times. I just feel like R. Kelly has slow motor skills. Just because he's old doesn't make him mature.
She was a child, bro.
I saw a commercial for Susan Logan's firm.
Hi, I'm attorney Susan E. Loggins. If you have a case, we will fight for you.
I felt like I needed to be empowered. I wound up speaking to Ian Alexander. I think a grown man with young girls, repeatedly, there is a problem. And I would think, how is he still getting away with this? That this man is a pedophile.
Tiffany Hawkins was the first person to bring this to the attention of anybody. Nobody believed her.
Does not the whole world know? My witness list consisted of
Aaliyah, Javante,
people in Robert's camp, enough for me to be taken seriously, but I wasn't.
I wanted to read these papers to y'all because they really just flashed through and did not stop so we could read slowly. It reads, plaintiff is unaware of the precise opinions of these witnesses. Presumably, they will testify about their knowledge of Mr. Kelly's relationship with the plaintiff and with other minor women. Plaintiff's investigation continues with respect to these witnesses. The list of witnesses who will testify at trial is not complete. The plaintiff's investigation continues as there were a number of people present at various times who witnessed the relationship between Mrs. Hawkins and Mr. Kelly, whose identity is unknown but will be supplemented in the future. It goes on to say that Ebony Wilkins, an unknown person, as well as Javante Cunningham, plaintiff is unaware of the addresses of any of these women. The plaintiff is also unaware of the content or foundations for any of their opinions, as their depositions or statements have not been taken. And this is where I was telling you guys earlier that she listed Aaliyah Houghton on her witness list from Detroit, Michigan. It reads, Mrs. Houghton presumably will testify regarding her relationship with Mr. Kelly while she was a minor, as well as her knowledge of the relationship between Mrs. Hawkins and the defendant while Mrs. Hawkins was a minor. Mrs. Houghton will also presumably testify regarding the marriage solemnized between herself and Mr. Kelly while she was a minor. And I feel like that if that would have happened, R. Kelly would have been gone back then, y'all. But Tiffany was on her stuff back then. She even listed the engineer who was working in the studio. Y'all know the engineer never leaves the room because they're the most important piece to writing the song, making the song, creating the song. Tiffany even listed her mother and said plaintiff's mother will testify to the pain and suffering endured by the plaintiff as well as other damages suffered by the plaintiff. Ms. Hawkins will also testify as to the conduct of the defendant as she personally observed it, as well as any and all conversations engaged in by Mrs. Hawkins and the defendant. Tiffany Hawkins and Ian Alexander were not playing no games with none of them because they listed Demetrius Smith as well and said Mr. Smith testified as to all aspects of liability and damages. Mr. Smith will testify as to the conduct engaged in by Mr. Kelly. Mr. Smith will also testify as to the effect that Mr. Kelly's conduct has had upon the plaintiff. Mr. Smith will also testify as to the defendant's proclivity to engage in relationships with minors, specifically the defendant's relationship and marriage to Aaliyah Houghton. And even with Tiffany having all that, the state still didn't pursue charges.
What Kelly was doing was horrendous, and the state didn't do anything. We knew we had to take action.
And so what we had to do was file a lawsuit against him and the people that he worked for.
It needed to be stopped.
December 24th, 1996, Tiffany files a civil lawsuit against R. Kelly.
Tiffany Hawkins files a civil suit.
Civil laws regulate disputes between private parties.
We knew that our only avenue was a civil lawsuit.
Seeking money damages.
We sued R. Kelly. We sued Jive Records, Zamba, Blackground. We sued
places for negligence.
The first month of 1998, Tiffany Hawkins began her deposition. A deposition is a pretrial testimony taken with the court reporter present. Illinois limits depositions to 3 hours.
Deposition that lasts 7.5 hours as hair raising.
So they knew they were screwed. Kelly's lawyers threw me out of their office, and she testified that they engaged in group encounters with other minors.
Upon her signing a non-disclosure agreement, R. Kelly and his lawyer offered her a $250,000 settlement.
And I figured that out too last year when I was digging and researching that basically everyone who ever tried to step to Kelly to tell on him or approach him about things that he had done to them, that he would just offer an NDA and $250,000. And people were saying that that's the reason why he's broke today, because he was giving all his money away to settle. The whole world was under the impression that R. Kelly had some long money hidden somewhere. But you guys, you really have to think. The last time I Googled R. Kelly's net worth, it said $151 million, but that was years ago. And I think now they got him at $1 measly million. But we all know he probably does not have any money in his name. Even if R. Kelly had a bond, y'all, I don't think that he would be able to bond out or beat these charges just for the simple fact that he spent all his money the first go round.
Bad men, particularly men who are accused of trafficking young girls and women, you don't operate like that for so long out in the open without some kind of monetary attachment.
Susan has brokered settlements for silence.
Forms of R. Kelly's.
Do you know what your rights are? If you're not sure, call us and tell us the facts.
I left Susan Logan's office. I always want to do my best. Feel like I was denied the opportunity to do the best for Tiffany Hawkins. Paying money for silence victimizes women.
Loggins began a sort of settlement factor. Girls would come to her with charges of underage sexual contact with Kelly. She would send them to a private detective agency, make them take a lie detector test. Non-disclosure agreement would be signed. A settlement would be struck. I believe there are more than a dozen settlements that we don't know about. There were not court papers. Loggins has never given me the number. She has only said numerous, with a little bit of a smirk.
Y'all, I have been so wondering if Mrs. Loggins can get in trouble because it's like she failed to report a crime. I'm not really sure how that works. If you're a lawyer, comment down below and let me know. Because Susan E. Loggins reminds me of this lady from the first episode of Surviving R. Kelly 2, The Reckoning. Oh my gosh, she got on my last nerve, y'all.
You know, having the money was great. That did not take the pain away. I thought it would. It was not the end all be all. You know, there were times that I feel
like I wanted to make it go away.
Times where I wanted to go back. There's actually a time I called him and he said, I don't think we should be talking. We talked probably for 5 minutes. Haven't talked to him since. I wanted to run back to the Robert that took care of me, the Robert that I thought loved me. I felt like he wanted the best for me. He just did not come through.
So while all this was going on, there was more sin, not enough singing.
She gave up everything that made her smile. Gave up her love for the sound of music.
So long, sleeping from sofa to sofa. Now I'ma step on these little bitty bitches in some brand new Gucci low. Some Gucci walking. I got tired of eating Big Mama's chicken. Now it's business when I walk.